Going
There
live.
we go.
You're live.
Sorry for the technical difficulties. We're back. We'll get that sorted. This is the first live every Thursday at 7 p.m. from here on. So where we left off, Piers, you're running for mayor. What things are you running on?
Right. And some people have asked questions. We'll come back to those in a minute. Specifically, the big issue, apart from the general control and complete madness of Sadiq Khan and his ruining roads, the big issue for most Londoners is housing, especially people, well, I was going to say under 30, but under anything actually. But the housing crisis in London is unbelievable, and it's entirely created by government policy. I mean, what we have is a massive amount of unaffordable housing, a surfeit, huge volume of empty, unaffordable housing, 250,000 such properties, 97,000 of them owned by foreign investors, and 57,000 of those anonymously owned by foreigners, foreign investors, foreign companies to be precise. Now that is appalling, appalling. And the cost has gone up astronomically, even though the cost of house construction is now at its lowest ever. So Londoners have been taken for a ride, and as even the Financial Times says, London is the laundromat for dodgy money of the world. And these dodgy companies, international con artists, are buying properties in London and banking on rising land values, keeping them empty to do so. I mean, there's a block off Oxford Street where it's over 6 million to buy a 2-bedroom flat. Well, that's insane. But the whole block is empty. It's just a speculation venture. Now, as mayor, I would say that any property without a named owner will be confiscated and turned over to council housing. And nobody should be allowed to buy properties in London unless they've lived there for at least a year. I mean, that's a simple thing, and they should release huge amounts of property, and then there'd be a crash in this property speculation, of course. That's what would happen, and rents would go down, 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 down. That's what would happen if we do this. Other things, of course, is the council housing. Councils have to stop handing over houses or selling them off to housing associations. We want proper, democratically accountable council housing with everyone having secure tenancies. It's all possible. It was there before. But instead, we have the speculation centre of the world. It is absolutely unacceptable. Other stuff I'll go on about is no zoning. We'll end ULEZ, ultra low emission zone, completely, and the congestion zone, we'll review it. We'll reduce the congestion zone charge and see what happens if it goes down and down and down. Because I think all these congestion and parking things don't actually change anything. They just collect money. We don't want, the mayor just to collect money. He should charge for things done, not just tax people for doing useful things like driving around. I mean, nobody drives through London just for the hell of it, frankly, and all these road blockages, we would stop those. Khan has caused every junction in London to be a jam. Instead, it should be a way of getting through. I mean, Elephant and Castle, cars have different routes around Elephant and Castle, but it should be the way through. But no, people go around it because it's a blockage. Third thing, of course, is would be end all these preparations for disease X. The mayor will be able to have a hand in these things. Some of these things, of course, you say, well, the mayor will not have powers over these, but obviously, if I'm elected mayor, I'll be saying to the government, this must be done. All right, they can say no or yes, but then we have London versus the government. Well, whether it's Rishi Sunak or Keir Starmer, it'd become to the same thing. But, we have to stand up. And of course, others around the country would stand up if we do in London. obviously no more lockdowns. I wouldn't administer any more lockdowns. It's just nonsense. I'd tell the police not to impose these lockdowns, and I would have powers to do that. End the climate con. All the rules imposed by the councils, so far as the Greater London Authority has power over them, and the GLA, those would end. Those would completely end. We would get rid of the climate con, which is a massive tax as well as an imposition on your freedoms. And we would do all we can to help the people, or any peoples in wars, actually, like the Houthis or people in Palestine. But we would support boycotts of businesses which are actively supporting massacres. We would definitely do that. So that's just a sample. But, you know, it would be you in charge, really, because, you know, we would have a open house sort of thing where lots of campaigns would come forward and say what needs to be done to put London right. And as I say again, anyone who's interested in standing alongside me, email him and put some money in now and put a pledge in now. So thank you for that question.
Did you write down the question that the fellow was?
Yes, I read it.
asked?
Yes, we had a question about weather. He said, "Is the rivers of atmospheric rivers, is it the same as the jet stream?" The answer is yes. The jet stream is, if you like, an atmospheric river, fast-moving air, upper air, and the north side of it is where it's colder, and the lower side of it is where it's warmer and nearer the equator. So, I mean, that's a simplified view, but these rapid moving rivers are known as the jet stream. I mean, it's not a simple stream like a river, but nevertheless, there is a general pattern of air moving in these directions. And during this period of generally low solar activity compared with, say, 50 years ago, the jet stream becomes more wavy and goes up and down more, I mean north and south more, so that we have more colder spells and more extreme warm spells as well. But on average, the cold spells outweigh the warm spells, so the general effect of the wild jet stream is the colder climate on average, and that's what we're heading to. If, despite what people are told by the BBC, the area of ice and snow every winter and spring in the northern hemisphere is getting bigger every year. The actual amount of ice in the Arctic and in the Antarctic is increasing, not decreasing. And average temperatures as measured by satellites are actually going down. The data they give you is fake data. And what's happening is nothing to do with mankind's carbon
series, aren't we?
Yes,
to the
we are.
councils. You went to Islington Council and you explained
Camden?
that
Yeah.
very conundrum and asked the questions to them about their poverty-inducing climate policies, considering that your explanation of how man-made climate change does not exist.
Yep.